7 things you have to face alone to become stronger. And I'm warning you right now, if you want real power, you're going to have to learn how to bleed without an audience. Because there's a kind of pain that was never meant to be shared. There's a kind of victory that doesn't fit inside motivational conversations. You can have friends, you can have family, you can have support, but certain battles are exclusively yours. And if you run from them, you might stay alive, but you'll become weak on the inside. Stoicism doesn't romanticize loneliness, it just tells the truth. You can't control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that strength doesn't come from applause, it comes from character. Seneca said, "The wise person is sufficient unto himself, not because he despises others, but because he doesn't depend on them to remain steady." And Epictetus was blunt, "What upsets you isn't what happens, it's the judgment you make about what happens." All of that points to the same direction. Power begins the moment you stop outsourcing your soul. So listen closely. Here are 7 things no one will do for you because they were never meant to be done together. And the 7th is the one that breaks strong people the most because it looks simple until life collects the debt. Thing 1. Heal your own wounds. No one feels your pain the way you do. People could empathize, they can hug you, they can listen, but when the lights go out, it's you and whatever is still open inside. If you don't face it, the wound becomes your identity, and when pain becomes identity, you start protecting what is destroying you. You repeat the story, choose the same patterns, go back to the same people, because at least it's familiar suffering. Healing alone doesn't mean isolating, it means taking responsibility for what you carry. It means looking at the scar and saying, "This happened, but it doesn't rule me anymore." Because either you heal or you get used to bleeding and call that normal. Thing 2. Discipline your mind. No friend will guard your thoughts for you. No mentor will hold your attention when anxiety starts inventing worst-case scenarios. No book, no matter how brilliant, will choose your focus for you. Mental discipline is an invisible gym. Nobody sees it, nobody applauds it, nobody understands the effort, but it determines who you are when no one is watching. And here's what most people refuse to accept. An undisciplined mind is a house with no doors. Any fear walks in, any opinion walks in, any memory walks in, and then you live reacting as if the world had the remote control to your head. The Stoic trains the opposite. Observe, name it, choose. Less impulse, more command. Either you control your thoughts or your thoughts control you. Thing 3. Build your vision. Greatness is forged in silence. The world only sees the podium, never the nights. It only sees the outcome, never the lonely hours behind it. And vision is a decision. It's choosing who you're going to be before you feel ready. It's holding the course when nobody believes you, when nobody understands you, when nobody sees it. Because there's a moment in every journey when applause doesn't exist and progress is invisible. That's where most people quit, not because they lack talent, but because they lack an inner direction. You need a north that doesn't depend on praise, a map that doesn't change because someone laughed. Your vision is like a fire in the middle of the night. If you don't feed it, it goes out. And if it goes out, you become easy to steer. Thing 4. Walk away from what weakens you. Letting go hurts, and because it hurts, most people confuse attachment with love, habit with destiny, dependence with loyalty. But strength begins where attachment ends. There are people, environments, and behaviors that drain you like a hole in a boat. You can row all day and still go nowhere because water keeps getting in. The Stoic understands that not everything you want should stay, and not everything that stays makes you better. Sometimes what's destroying you is exactly what you call just who I am. And here's the lonely courage. Cutting what hooks you even when nobody sees you trying, leaving a routine that numbs you, releasing a version of yourself that was comfortable but small. Because you don't become strong by adding more. You become strong by removing what makes you weaker. Thing 5. Master your emotions. It's not about becoming a stone, it's about becoming a commander. Emotion is a fire. It can warm a house or burn it down. People who react too much become predictable. People who explode easily become controllable. And the world loves controlling emotional people. A calm mind is the sharpest weapon there is because it doesn't waste energy on imaginary wars. React less and reflect more is a brutal, lonely training because no one sees the second you swallow the impulsive reply. No one sees the moment you breathe and choose not to enter a fight that would feed your ego. No one sees you turning anger into action and fear into preparation. But that's where you start becoming dangerous in the best sense. Dangerous to your own limits. Epictetus taught that freedom is internal, and internal freedom begins when you stop being a slave to your mood. Before the next one, a quick ask. If this kind of content is helping you build more inner peace and maturity, subscribe to the channel DVT Lucas Official. You're not just becoming a subscriber, you're building the habit of protecting your mind, and that changes your life in a way no one can do for you. Thing 6. Learn to be at peace in your own company. A lot of people aren't afraid of silence. They're afraid of what silence reveals. That's why they fill life with noise, scrolling messages, non-stop work, anything to avoid being alone with their own mind. But solitude is where you find yourself. It's where you separate desire from neediness, ambition from escape. When you learn to be okay with yourself, you stop begging for validation. You stop accepting crumbs just to avoid feeling alone. You stop negotiating your values for belonging. Seneca talked about returning to yourself. And returning to yourself is like walking into a room and finally cleaning the mess you've been shoving under the rug. At first, it's uncomfortable, but then it becomes power, because the person who is enough doesn't sell himself. Thing 7. Get up after every fall. This is what separates people who admire Stoicism from people who live it. No one will lift you forever. They might help once, twice, 3 times, but life isn't obligated to carry you. And at some point, you realize either you become your own foundation or you collapse on everyone around you. Getting up is intimate. It's when you fail and still return, when you lose and still learn, when you're betrayed and still refuse to become bitter, when you're humiliated and still refuse to abandon your character. Marcus Aurelius wrote like someone rebuilding from the inside, day after day with no spectacle. And that's exactly it. You are your own reconstruction, your own resurrection. No hand on your shoulder can replace your decision to continue. And here's the most important part. The path to power isn't shared. You will walk in silence. You will bleed in private. You will say no when nobody understands. You will train when nobody is watching. You will choose what's right when what's easy is screaming. You will get up without witnesses until one day the world looks at you and wonders how you became so solid. And the answer will be simple, because you faced alone what had to be faced. If you want to apply this for real, comment below which of the 7 is hardest for you right now. And subscribe to DVT Lucas Official, because your life improves when you build the habit of protecting your inner peace and growing in maturity. You don't need more noise, you need direction.